everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Apologetically Me. I'm Maggie,
I'm Wanda.
and we're here with an episode of things we could tell young Wanda and Maggie, things that we regret, things that we wish we could go back in time and tell ourselves, and things that we improved on. But before we start, Wanda, tell the people what you got going on.
So I've been putting this off for some time, but finally, now that I have more time, school is finishing up. I started Amsterdam New. Oh,
Oh,
I
it's a new
don't.
show on Netflix, the
Yeah,
hospital one, right?
yes.
I saw that.
I wouldn't fist bump to that. I think you expected me to say something that was like, yeah, fist down for that. Ugh. Um, but yeah, it's a really good show. The main guy is on Blacklist, and that was kind of the reason why I wanted to watch the show. I came in with no expectations, but I'm going to start referencing the show in my interview answers because I think it's a really good response to what do you think is servant leadership, or like how do you demonstrate servant leadership? And then I can refer to the show.
Wait, what is servant leadership?
Oh, in the show, he becomes a new medical director, and basically, he doesn't approach it as how can you help me? It's basically he asks, how can I help you? And how can you help patients? So it's him serving his doctors, the department heads, and as well as the patients. So in the first episode, the head of psych is like, "Oh, I wish we had more fresh food that was purchasable, like on site, because everything is junk food." And he's like, "Okay." So he installed a farmer's market in the lobby of the hospital, and now they have fresh produce that they can eat. Although, kind of weird because it's like, do they cook? Like, it's fresh produce. Are they just like snacking on celery? That's gross.
Probably. Well, yeah, because you don't like celery, though.
Yeah. That's gross. But anyways, yeah, so it's basically how can he help the doctors do a better job taking care of the patients? And that is
Maybe, maybe
servant
like
leadership.
someone has scurvy and they're like, "Hey, let's get them an orange ASAP."
And they're like, "Oh no, I have scurvy now." And only an orange from the farmer's market can save me.
I don't know what happens in the show. I'm sure that could be a good episode at Netflix. Credit me.
It's also very topical. They touch on a lot of current issues, like the fact that healthcare is not free in the United States. And it's illegal, according to Congress, to ask how much a procedure costs or something like that. So you can't price match or like price compare with other hospitals. You kind of just have to take it and pay whatever that amount is.
US is fucked.
Yeah. So they touch on that and mental health. What is your update for this week?
Um, I can't give an update without talking about the new the new old new Taylor Swift songs from the vault. She, as we all know, she had some beef with Scooter Braun, SB. She has re-released her music. They're so great. Like they're the same, but like they're different. And some of the songs are like unheard of, like you've never heard them before. Some of them, like they still hit the right spot, you know? Like Forever and Always. Holy cow. Okay, so for some background, I didn't start liking Taylor Swift until The Reputation. No, take it back. 1989. That
That
album
was a good
changed.
album.
Holy shit. That album changed my life. It like cured my depression. JK, JK. But it amazing album. That's when I started. So like a lot of her past songs I've never heard of before. So songs like Forever and Always, Haunted, like that kind of thing. I was like, holy shit, these songs are amazing. She is iconic. And now that I'm listening to them all over again, I'm like, oh, spicy.
I
It's
started
great.
listening to her very young. I think like when she became popular, like Love Story, like maybe slightly before Love
Mm.
Story. Like I knew a girl in my elementary school who's just like very like she was in love with Taylor Swift. Like she went to every single one of Taylor Swift's concerts and
Yeah.
like had all her albums, merch and everything like that. So she would like play it constantly and then I heard it and I was like, "Oh, this is actually really good." And then I started listening to her as well. But you are clearly not an OG.
I only knew the popular songs like Love Story, Mine, You Belong With Me, maybe Enchanted. But yeah, she's so talented, so amazing. When I die, donate my organs to Taylor Swift. She probably won't need them, but she'll know what to do with them.
Let's hope so. Let's hope her talent is in organ harvesting and disposal.
I'm like a universal blood donor. Taylor, you can take my blood and my body. It's totally okay.
Oh, so in-house, they're a lot of the time talk about like bone marrow donations, and you are more likely to have a family match, like someone in your family who would be able to donate the bone marrow and your body won't reject it and everything. So now I had this excellent theory of this is why you should marry a sibling, because then they'd be always willing to donate their bone marrow to you and they'd be always with you. You wouldn't have to contact them or anything. Like, what if you become estranged from your parents? Then you'll still have a sibling and husband or wife that you can always count on. So, Alabama, you're doing something right.
This is the worst advice you've ever given on the podcast.
As long as you don't have kids, there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't support this. You're just saying this because you don't have any siblings. I hate it here.
Yes, that is very true.
Donate an organ to them, but you want to marry them. Reevaluate your life choices.
I want them to be accessible for bone marrow donations at all times. You know, sometimes when you give advice, some are good, some are bad. You gotta take, if you don't like me at my worst, you don't get to see me at my best.
So, listeners, we're gonna have Jordan on next week. Wait, did you tell Jordan about this?
Yes, I did.
What did
I don't remember his response exactly, but I don't think it was that positive.
Yeah, I don't blame the guy.
I don't know what you could say to that situation, really. But I mean, it's something to consider. Think about it. Maybe don't do it.
I think it's a plus that you don't have siblings, because imagine if you did and you just said this.
Yeah, that'd be awkward.
Imagine if you had a brother and you said to Jordan, like, yeah, I think it'd be really good if I married a sibling. Jordan would nope the fuck out of this.
Only child benefit.
Things you can say when you're an only child.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was your beef or crush of the week?
My beef of the week is, well, it's not really a beef, but like it's more of like another poll question, like the last poll question we had of if a baby is lying face down in the water, is it floating? It is floating. It's just also dying simultaneously, most likely. But this week is, do you think watching other people work out is weird?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, but like, okay, think about it like this though. What if the other person who says that it's weird also watches people sleep on stream or host like all day streams where they're just like pattering around their kitchen doing stuff and then just filming their everyday life, like 24-hour long stream sessions, and you're just watching it?
Why is this so specific? What are you doing?
Which one is more weird?
Probably the last one you said.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, anyways, my beef of the week is now Jordan. Not really, again, still not really a beef, but the gyms are closed now in Ontario. I'm very upset about that. But to kind of get the same adrenaline dopamine rush sometimes, I like to watch powerlifters working out on YouTube. And I made the mistake of putting it on one time when Jordan wasn't paying attention, but then he saw it and he's like, this is so weird. Like, why are you watching people just work out? Like, what do you get from this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I miss it. And like, I want to pretend I am the one who is lifting that much weight.
In this context, it's not weird. If you're like they film themselves, it's a YouTube video. I thought you meant like in person, like you're watching someone do a set, like following them at the gym. I thought that's what you meant.
No, that's weird. You don't stare at people. Don't stare at people at the gym.
Okay, well, you should clarify that. In this case, that is not weird at all, and Jordan's messed up.
Yes, thank you. And then his thing was like, okay, like I get it. Like sometimes when I'm watching like full day streams of people just living their life or like filming themselves living their life, they work out on stream, and like I just watch that, but I don't watch all of it. And like I just tune in occasionally to like watch what's going on. But I'm like, how is that less weird than what I'm doing?
The whole day stream thing is like a little bit weird, but I think maybe it's just because we're not in like the streaming Twitch community yet.
Yet. Yeah. Like Ludwig is doing it. That's why I bring it up, because he's doing like full day stream marathons, and every time you sub to him, he like increases the counter, and so he has to like keep going until the counter runs out. So he films himself sleeping.
That's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Why would you watch that? That's really weird.
Yeah. I agree, but I guess it's the whole nosiness
Wait,
of everything.
Jordan watches him sleep?
I mean, I think he occasionally tunes in and he's like asleep, and then he like watches it and then he leaves. Like, I don't think he watches it for that long. But so I guess this is the question that I'm going to pose this week is it weird to watch other people on YouTube working out and doing their sets? Maggie says no, I say no. And then, is it weird to watch Twitch streamers film their everyday life? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Glad we agree on that.
Yeah. Jordan, if you're out there listening, just want to check in. Are you okay?
Quarantine's getting to him. He just wants a friend.
This is the proximity of a friend. Retweet, Jordan, retweet.
So, what is your beef or crush of the week then?
Okay, my beef of the week is my mother. So, my mom broke her arm back in December. It takes a while for her to heal, but now she's like trying to recover. The other day, I came to pick her up from work. I was locking up, turn around, and my car was gone. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then she had took the car without telling me and was just doing like donuts in the parking lot. Not actually donuts, but she was like practicing driving. And I was like, what the hell? What is happening here? What? Mom, come back. I'm your only daughter. Mom. And now she's like trying to be independent and like moving her arms around, but it also gets in my way. And she's also like trying to micromanage me, and it drives me crazy. And I had to take 2 Tylenol yesterday to deal with her voice. Mom, if you're listening to this, I told you this. Stop it. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Do you think you'd be that kind of mom?
Yeah, 100%.
To Maggie's future kids, watch out.
Buddy kids, go to bed. Yeah, that's it. That's my beef. Unoriginal, but that's it.
That's funny. I remember seeing the snap and I was like, what is going on?
Just like straight up was like, bye. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to be talking about things that we would tell young Wanda and young Maggie. Is this self-growth? Are we better now than we were 10 years ago? Okay, so Wanda, first of all, describe your overall experience with being a teenager from the years of like 14 to, I'll say 18. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, did it suck? Is it a lot better now? Like, how was it?
I mean, it's obviously a lot better now. I think as you grow older, you stop caring as much. You stop caring about what people say about you. You still kind of do, but like it's a lot less so. And I'm hoping that also disappears more with age. But 14 and 18 weren't bad for me. They're actually pretty cool. I liked high school quite a bit, if you remember from the Maggie and Wanda underage episode.
Oh wait, yeah, underage.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where I met Maggie. I feel like that's where I came out of my shell a lot more. I was a lot more talkative of a person.
Aww.
I mean, like, would I go back? No, but like, it was cool. It was cool for then.
I think my overall experience was not bad. You're right. I would not go back at all. I think if I'm going to be completely honest, I think I still care a lot about what people say or think about me. And I'm more aware of it now. But back then, at least I had like a false sense of confidence, because like you're in a small group setting and it's like, everyone, like you don't give a fuck anymore. But now I'm old and I'm like, I don't know who anyone is, but I still don't really give a fuck anymore. But it's like meeting new people, I think gives you kind of like that new people anxiety. And I think like when you're a teenager, like you kind of know everyone, you don't get that anxiety anymore. But now that I'm old, I'm like, ugh, new people. I just want to be with people I know. Ah, growth. Love it.
See, it's something.
Yeah, it is something. I mean, okay, right now it's like a million times better than it was when we were teenagers.
Mhm.
It feels like everything was the end of the world. I mean, I am a very dramatic person, I think. Like I do blow everything out of proportion in my head and I overthink a lot. But yeah, way better now, I think. And you know who your real friends are, I think.
Yeah, you stop hanging out with people who don't make you happy.
Yeah, I think you would only hang out with people who are like conveniently around you, like
Mhm.
based on the circumstances, like school every day, with the same person every day, like you're bound to be close. But now that like, like life, COVID and everything, like now you have to choose who you want to talk to in your spare time.
Yes, my 5. My top
Mhm.
5 friends that I will hang out with. It's just a coincidence that, everyone I hang out with is lives in the same city and is
Nice.
very close.
It's just what I like.
Yeah. Like, that's just coincidence. It's not because they're just there because they're easy access.
Yeah. So what expectations did you have like as a teenager? Okay, no, let me rephrase that. So what unrealistic expectations do you think you had for when you hit your 20s?
I thought I'd be a lot more successful, a lot more of my life planned out, but that's about it. As I told all of y'all and Maggie, I did not think I was going to live past 19 years old. I did not know what life was going to be like post 19. So every day has been
A
something
miracle.
new. Yeah, that too. Every day has been a miracle. Honestly, amazed that I'm still alive. Um,
Very nice.
I didn't think I'd settle down. I guess that was the only thing. Like, as a teenager, I was like, I never want to settle down. I never want to just be with one person. Like, what's the point? Life is meaningless. Relationships are meaningless, kind of thing. So, having bounced from long-term relationship to long-term relationship, it's quite different than how I imagined it to be.
Pretty funny. Love it. Love some self growth up in here.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like I don't know if that was just growth or it's just like
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being long term. I don't think there's anything wrong short term or bouncing
mhm.
around or anything, but it's like it's cool that you were like, "Oh, like this is the right time, right place. I'm going to do this."
Yeah. Just open to opportunities, I guess you
Mhm.
could say.
Yeah, for sure.
What were your unrealistic expectations?
Honestly, same. I thought I'd be a lot more successful. Like I thought I'd be moved out by now. I
Mm.
thought that I would um have like a lot more idea with what was going on, like be close to marriage, kids or something. Actually, was I? Yeah, probably close to that. I thought it'd be way hotter also. I'm so upset that I look basically the same as I do from high school. Yeah, I thought I'd be like abroad or something. Like I've always wanted to live abroad.
I guess you don't really imagine what your life is like in your 20s because when you're in high school, you're very like me now kind of thing. Like you don't think about like the future.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with how I ended up based on my expectations. I think like teenage me was stupid. I don't know what was out there in the real world. I'm like perfectly happy right now.
Yeah, I agree. Never listen to teenage you. Go back and
Aw.
beat the shit out of them.
Well, actually, Kathy, if you guys don't remember who was on our moderator, she had told me about this site called like Dear Future Me, and you basically write a letter to yourself, like in 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, to talk about like expectations, goals, like hope you're doing well, that kind of thing. And I've used that, and I forget when I did it, so I'm hoping to get an email one day from Ask Me.
That's kind of nice. My only thing is I have Watch Younger on the calendar for when I turned 40 to figure out if I change my preference on which guy I think she should end up with. The show Younger.
I, s- I like Josh, but I don't think she should be with anyone really.
I think she should be with Josh. I don't think she should be with the other guy,
I
but
agree.
maybe when I'm 40 years old, I will have a different opinion because I just find Josh very attractive right now and he's very
That's
similar to age
cute.
with us as well. So it's like it's very hard. Like I want to know what 40-year-old Wanda thinks at that point. So that's on the calendar for when I turn 40. So that's it.
That's a good one. Josh is a sweetie. Charles sucks. He's hot, but he sucks.
Who?
Charles?
Oh, he's not hot. I don't find him attractive.
He's pretty hot.
Mm.
Picture here so you can see listeners slash viewers. Sorry, listeners.
My type of guy, if he's a like older guy, is Phil Dunphy. Like that is my like
Yeah.
you might think he's not that attractive, but then his face with his personality, like 10 out of
Oh,
10.
yeah. Personality is amazing.
Okay, gang signs.
Okay. So before we get more into it, this is a TMI warning. Hope it won't get uncomfortable for you guys, but really it's about things that we wish we knew when we were younger and things that we hope we can share our wisdom with for you young impressionable viewers.
Who might be our age as well.
Might be our age, but I learned a lot too from this episode and from talking to Wanda, so never too late to learn. Okay. So body hair. What has been your history with body hair removal?
Oh God. Okay. So when we were younger, thin eyebrows were a big thing. So I plucked my eyebrows to absolute oblivion. They were slim, they were barely there, and they did not grow back for like 2 to 3 years later. And ever since that, like they've never been perfect. And I blamed my younger self for that. But outside of eyebrows, I was also very like brainwashed by like media and everything where I was like very anti body hair. You know how like you have like fuzz on your like face and like on your like I don't know, chest. Like it's not really hair, but it's just like it's like fuzz, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You, okay. But like I was like I can't. Like this is terrible. I would try like shaving it off. I would do like but it was basically not hair. Like it was so thin you can't get rid of it. So like it was my attempts were futile. And like I hated my arm hair. Like I hated like having any leg hair. I like could not. Like it was just no. This is not for me. I guess like now I'm a lot more comfortable with having hair. Like I understand that it's it's just fuzz. Like everyone has this. Like you're a mammal. You're gonna grow hair all over your body. It's okay. But I've also gotten a lot more lazier, so I don't tend to shave my legs in the winter at all, and I don't shave anymore. I usually just nair if I can, and if I want to. I find that like it's easier, and it leaves my legs feeling softer. But for bikini areas, I used to shave, and you would get the worst ingrown hairs, and it'd be so prickly, and like I'd itch like crazy, and it was the most uncomfortable thing ever. But I thought that was what you're supposed to do, because again, media. Now I don't do anything. Like I would trim it at best, I would say, unless I go on vacation, which then I get like a half bikini wax of some sort. I've adopted more of like a carefree lifestyle. I don't care about body hair. I personally get rid of leg hair and like armpit hair just because that's my own preference. If you don't, that's totally cool with me. Um all the power to you.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was
I
very
think yeah.
long-winded.
No, I think it's good. I think like the key takeaway there is it's your preference. Like it's
Yeah.
your body. Do whatever makes you comfortable. I have like a weird experience with body. So like I am generally like not hairy. So like my legs, I didn't start shaving till I was like 16, and that was like maybe once because I was like, there's like no hair, whatever. Arm hair, I left it alone. My armpit hair, that has been like a mission for me. And like, yeah, because of the media too, I'm like, oh, they have to be like completely clean shaven. And it doesn't help that my mom is like completely hairless, like
Mhm.
no issues at all. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, why do I have so much hair going on? My mom doesn't.
They
Uh,
say it's because if you start shaving at a very young age, you're more likely to have like hair grow back every single time as you get older. So like our parents obviously like cuz that's not a thing in Asian cultures when they were growing up, like my mom's like hairless too because she never got rid of it. So she's like no leg hair, no arm, like nothing.
what's that like? Yeah, my underarms, like, I personally like them. Actually, no, in the winters, I don't care. But like summer and stuff, I'm still like very self conscious about it. And I think like I poked myself to oblivion, like shaved everything. I think I gave myself like so many ingrown hairs. Oh my God, ingrown hairs. Jesus. I think hell is just a bunch of ingrown hairs. Change my mind. Um, yeah, like it was like the worst thing. I still get it sometimes, but now I'm trying to wax instead of shaving because shaving sucks and I can't figure it out for the life of me. I do shave my leg hairs though, because again, I only shave my legs like maybe once or twice a year.
Jealous.
And there's like not that much hair going on there. I'm sorry. Um, Everything else, like I try to get waxed. Like bikini area, I would prefer to get it waxed at a salon, but because of Ontario's restrictions, it's been super tough. And I watched this TikTok video on
Oh
how
my
to shave,
god, no.
and it is the worst thing I ever did to myself. And I had to go out and buy wax, and I'm like, God damn it! Like, why did I listen to this? It's so like it's the worst thing in the world. You're right. It's so itchy. It's so prickly. This sucks. I can't
Um,
figure out how people do it.
you know those like hot wax videos that were like a trend on YouTube and stuff? Like you'd have a little pot and then you had like the wax balls and
Mm.
then you like melt it. So I thought that was so like aesthetically pleasing that I decided to like buy some and try it out for myself. It was the most painful thing I have ever used. And like I don't know if it was because like it was just like cheap wax or because I didn't know how to do it, maybe a combination of both, but it hurt like a motherfucker.
Wait, I just went out to buy this hot wax thing.
Oh yeah, good luck, have fun.
It's like the hot wax, like that brand from Walmart. Fuck, I forgot what it's called. Oh my god, I just sent you a picture of it. Oh my god, now I'm so scared.
I mean, it could be different. Like this was like, you know those like wax pearls that you actually melt yourself and then you like slap it on and then you put a piece of paper on and then you like how salons do it or how they do it on TikTok and Vine and YouTube back in the day.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Okay, I'm not gonna do whatever. Fuck it. I don't
I
care
think
anymore.
like doing it yourself is like 10 times more painful. I remember as a kid, I had like a friend who bought like wax strips and she was like, "Hey, like wax me." And then, like I tried, but then she was like bleeding because like I didn't do it properly. No, I've done this before to our friends. Like I've I've as a bet that I won, I got to wax one of our friends or two of our friends' legs. Um and I made them bleed because I do not know what I'm doing and it was very painful for them. So maybe don't try
Okay.
at home wax kits if you don't have the experience to do it.
Yeah, I much prefer salon, but then again, it's like it's your body, whatever. Yeah, bikini area, like do whatever you want with it. I personally prefer like trimmed, like a little bit shaven. And I try shaven, wax if you can. Body hair sucks. I wish I could get laser to like remove everything, but then I'm like, it's there for a reason, you know? Like you shouldn't be embarrassed about it.
Mhm. I would. I think that's like I would get my legs lasered and I would get my underarms lasered.
Yeah.
But I do not
Same.
have the money to spend $100 per session. And I've been told that it's not the most blissful experience that you can have.
No, I heard it hurts like a bitch. Like you're supposed to get it done in the winter time.
Why in the winter?
Because like it gets really red and irritating. You're supposed to avoid sunlight. So winter is like the best time.
There was a guy who I worked with a while ago and he has lasered his entire body. And he said that there was one time where she was like, "Do you want to see something cool?" Like his like laser, I don't know what they're called, but the person who was doing his laser hair removal, and he was like, "Sure." And she was like, "This is going to hurt," and he's like, "Okay." So she turned up the like volume, I guess. She cranked it up and she like zapped him, and he was like, it felt like I was on like mushrooms. Like I went to a different world of like I started seeing colors and like everything. Like I had an out of body experience for like a couple of minutes and then like I came back and I was like, holy shit, what was that? So those things could really get you.
Is this a licensed professional?
Yes, it was.
That she was like, "Hey, want to see something really cool? Want to
Yeah.
see some real speed?"
But he said then he did it again because he thought it was so cool.
Goes to get like hair removal, ends up going on mushrooms.
Yeah.
That's the
Honestly, two for the price of one.
Do you feel like you need to get rid of hair? Like how do you like address your body hair?
It sucks because, like, part of me is like, I feel like I do. Like, I'm sometimes uncomfortable in the summer when like I wear shorts and stuff and I'm like, "Oh, I see my leg hair." Even though everyone else is like, "Okay, you can barely see anything. You're crazy." But it's like personally, I feel like it's there and it makes me less confident in what I wear, which is unfortunate because it shouldn't, but it does. So, um, what was the question again?
How do you feel about your body hair? Like, are you confident with keeping it? Like, how do you be confident?
I think for me, it's because I don't do anything to like, oh, I don't do anything like major, drastic, or what's mainstream for like my bikini area. It's because like I just let laziness rule it out. Like I've gone through so many like bad experiences with it. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like I should love myself. I should love my body. There's hair there for a reason. And then I just let the it's mostly the laziness. Like I just don't want to deal with it. And like you to get like a wax, like it's like the cheapest I've ever seen it was like $25. Like that's not cheap. And you have to go
You
like
don't
spread
wanna
eagle
Yeah, you
to
don't
like
wanna,
a
like, trust the cheap ones anyways, you know?
yeah. And it's like so like you're spending like what $50 for like a wax that maybe lasts like 1 or 2 weeks and then you have to go do it again. And it's just like I have
Expensive.
yeah, I could use this money to be gouging myself with food or pampering myself in other ways. So cost, laziness, let those really overrule your life. Like make sure they take over and then you'll really get over the whole like body hair situation outside of the love yourself thing. So that's my answer. What is yours? What is how do you deal with it? How do you be confident in it?
I'm not. And I mean, I think I have my days. Like, if I'm with, like, my very comfortable friends, um, you know, like, I don't really care, like, they don't care too. Like, I know they love me no matter what, but if I'm going out, you're right, like, I'm on dates or something, I'm like, "Ugh, okay, fine." I'm very self-conscious about my body hair. Um, but I think your whole laziness thing, that really resonates with me because, like, I've gone so long without shaving or doing anything to it, um, that I'm like, "I don't give a fuck, like, you can judge me whatever you want." But then I have days where I'm like, "Oh, man, I am the hairiest person alive." Um, and I think that's completely normal too. I don't think I'm ever gonna come to a point where I'm, like, super confident with my body hair, my body in general. I think maybe that's just gonna come with time. And you know what? It's a process. I've accepted it. And it's hard for me to practice what I preach, but okay, I'm getting there.
Yeah. I even now I'm like I'm not 100% confident. Like I go through the exact same thing where I'm like, "Oh my god." I look at my legs, I'm like, "I am the hairiest person ever." And Jordan would be like, "What hair? There's no hair on your legs. I can't even see anything." And I'm like, "Oh my god, like look at all this hair. Like, oh I am so hairy." And he's like looking at me like I'm crazy.
So when I was younger, other girls would kind of shame me for not shaving my
Mhm.
legs. And that's such a weird, like, internalized misogyny thing. Like, this girl who I thought was my friend was always like, "Meg, you need to shave your legs. Like, I can see, like, the little hairs." And I would look down, I was like, "Oh, shit, I didn't even notice that. Like, they're so small and little. Like, I didn't even think people would notice." And she was like, "Oh my god, it's so gross. You need to shave your legs." I'm like, "Hmm, that's so weird." I mean, we were younger then, we were teenagers, but I think, like, girls can sometimes be, like, the enemy at that age. But I think, like, now that we're older too, like, girls are way nicer to each other, way more accepting, I think.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why I started shaving too, because like all the girls in my grade would be like talking about it and stuff, and they'd like ask you about it and be like, "What do you do?" And it's like, "Oh, nothing." They're
Yeah.
like, "Ew." Like, I think girls are like, I don't think guys really care that much. Like some do, but I think girls are one of the main sources of issues when like you were growing up, when we were growing up. They
Mhm,
were like the ones who would be like, "Oh, you need to shave," or like, "That's so gross to have body hair." And like they just reinforced your own thoughts and just made it worse. So it's like we're still trying to break out of that thinking.
mhm. Yeah, it's I completely agree. It is kinda messed up, but, like, I don't know, you see in the media too, everyone's so hairless all the time, like,
Mhm.
they walk around without any ingrown hairs. Like, I thought ingrown hairs was, like, something that only I went through, and I was so glad when one of my friends brought it up, and I was like, "Holy shit, I get so many of these. I need to stop shaving or something."
Yeah, shaving's so bad for it too. Like every time like if I shave, it's just like ingrown hair city. And it's so itchy.
Fucking sucks. How do we end this? I Someone pay for my laser.
At the media. Stop shaming people. Give people hair.
Yeah, if men can be hairy, so can we,
Yeah.
okay? Do you take in your significant other's preference with body hair?
not anymore. I think like even I want to say like no always because like I didn't really care that much, but if they did say something like offhandedly, like I've known some people to be like, oh, I prefer a girl who's shaved. And you know what they're talking about. But then the girl has like a completely different preference and then they get like they're like, "Oh, should I listen to my like significant other? Should I do this?" Um and like that sucks like to have someone else try to control I guess like something that's so natural
Mhm.
is kind of weird. Like there's a lot of guys and girls out there who are like, I only want people who are clean shaven, even though they don't do the same thing. So I think it's like, yes, I take their thoughts into consideration. Like I will listen to them, but no, I will not always act on it. Like sometimes, like when they say things like that's not about body hair, it's said with good intentions. Like, you look ugly in that shirt. I mean, they wouldn't say it like that, but like, but like if they tell you, hey, your legs are really hairy, you should shave them. Maybe you should reevaluate. Maybe you should tell them to shave their legs too. Be like, I'll do it when you do it. Because it's like, why is this a thing that women have to do? Again, going back to the
Mhm.
whole, we are born with hair. Why don't men have to shave their hair? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's hard. Don't like that's it's very hard though, because then in your mind you're always thinking about the fact that they said that and then they're like and you're like, "Oh, do they find me like gross? Like do they not find me attractive anymore?" Like you go through that.
Mhm.
Don't do it because they're not good enough for you to go through that much thought and diminishing your own self-worth for that.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's body hair. It's completely normal, it's
Mhm.
natural. Do whatever the fuck you wanna do with it. But it's kind of a catch-22 because I know it's like your significant other, like, maybe, like, something is easier, like, you do wanna check in and ask them, but it's also like it's your body, like, you get final say, like, they're lucky to be with you.
Yeah. It, body hair is just one of those things. It's like
It's trivial.
it's trivial. It really is. Like, for example, Jordan's like, "Oh, I like you with dark hair." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going blonde." But he doesn't like me any less when I'm blonde. He just
Mhm.
has like a preference for darker hair. And like I can listen, like I can go with darker hair and like listen, I put in quotations, or I can just go blonde as I want. But like regardless, he'll still like me the same way. He has his preferences and I have mine.
Yeah, you totally had preferences for brunettes, and,
Yeah.
look where we are now, Jordan.
Yeah. So it's like just because they have preferences, that doesn't mean that they can't grow out of them as well. Like I think the main thing is like confidence. Like if you're confident in your body hair around them, that's I think better than you trying to satisfy their needs over your own.
Yeah, retweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
And if they don't accept you, dump them. If they force you to get rid of body hair, dump them.
I think it's like if they're forcing you, it's their way of trying to control you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what else? Like, even though it's a very small thing, like this could just be a sign of like something in the future that they want to try to control you over.
Call on us if your significant other ever forces you to shave or controls you in that way. We got your back.
We do. We will shave him.
Yeah, we will tie him down and shave him, and he'll have to grow with the ingrown hairs because it's so much worse for men.
We'll shave it poorly. We'll let Wanda wax him.
Oh, that's like torturous. Like ask anyone that I've ever waxed. It's terrible.
It goes against Geneva's War Convention. But
Yeah,
like,
it's funny.
yeah. So I think that's a good thing for body hair. Do you wish you could like go back and tell yourself to like calm down, like with the body hair, or like it was all a process to get here?
No, I wish I could tell myself to like calm down, like chill. But then at the same time, I think body hair was less accepted back when we were growing up too. Like now, if you see influencers on Instagram, you'll see people who are like showing off their armpit hair and like hair and everything. And they're like, hey, this is normal. So, like, yeah, I could have told like 14-year-old me to be like, hey, like, cool it with the shaving. Would she have listened? No. because, teenage rebellion, all that stuff.
Yeah. That's a good point. I wouldn't not have listened to me.
If you have a
No, let's
kid.
see. Okay, but the thing is maybe like yeah, maybe like we would have had that open conversation with our kids because I didn't talk about that with my mom.
Mhm.
My mom thought I was like weird for shaving.
Yeah, same. I
So
had to
maybe
do
that's like a mom thing.
No, I had to do it, like, privately and secretly because I felt like my parents would, like, judge me on it.
Mm. Ah. My mom was like, "You need to stop shaving. It's just gonna grow back
Yes,
worse."
exactly what my mom told me too.
And I was like, "I can't walk around in shorts like this. People
Yeah.
are staring at me." They're not
Hun
actually staring at me, but like
you f
on my head.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, have an open I guess, like, if I had a kid, I'd have an open conversation about it. Like, I feel like
Like
you'd
you
get
wanna shave.
curious. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the proper way to do it.
Yeah, but I'd, like, get them to bring it up. I wouldn't be like, "Hey, you've turned 13 now. Do you wanna shave?" I'd wait till, like, they come to me being like, "Hey, like, should I shave? How do I shave?"
Yeah.
'Cause,
Ugh.
like, have fun.
Weird things with your mom too.
What?
I don't know, we're not like an open, touchy
Mhm.
family thing, so, like, even talking about body hair, I'm like, "Ugh, this is weird."
Yeah. It's weird now because, like, my mom's like, I just keep whatever, like, Nair in the shower or whatever, and, like, she just seems, like, fine with it now.
Hmm,
So it's like, I don't know if it's because I'm older or she's just, like, accepted as part of something society wants to.
maybe both. Okay, so moving on to our periods. What sanitary products we use, pads versus tampons, Diva cups, everything in between. What do you use, and why has it worked for you?
So when I was growing up, I exclusively use, like, and this is TMI. So again, feel free to tune away. You don't have to listen to this. But when I was younger, I used, like, heavy duty, like those very thick, like, always pads things. And they sucked because, like, you feel like you're wearing a diaper.
Mhm. I still
And
use them. What are you talking about?
oh my God. Okay, well, I'm sorry. To me, like, when I was younger, I always felt like there was just so much. Like, it was
They're
just
huge.
they're
You can see them
huge.
through your jeans.
Yeah, like, if you wear tight jeans, it's a lot. Like, it was very diaper feeling for me.
Mhm.
So I was very
And every time you
happy.
move, it's like a crunch.
Uh, Nam flashbacks. um, and I also get the one with wings because we love that security.
Mhm.
Also, I've seen this going on the internet a lot, but the wings go like under and they wrap around like your underwear. They don't stick to your body. There's been a debate where guys apparently don't know how the wings work. Like, they assume that the wings get stuck to your body so, like, it stays in place, but no, it does not. It wraps it wraps around, like, if this is your underwear, it sticks on like this, and it also sticks on like this on the other
Oh
side.
boy. Oh boy.
This is why, like, when we were receiving, like, sex ed, like, they shouldn't have separated the girls from the boys.
They
Like,
really shouldn't have.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I have, like, 2 brothers, like, growing up, and when I first got my period, they were both, like, so grossed out when I got it. They were like, "Ew, when did you start getting your period? That's so gross. You have to tell me." I'm like, "Wait." And at the I was, like, so embarrassed, but now looking back, I'm like, "Wait, why was I embarrassed? That's, like, completely natural." Like,
Mhm.
my mom would, like, openly give me pads and was like, "Here, take these." And they were like, "Ew, that's so gross, Maggie. When did you get this?" Like, "Ew, you're bleeding." I guess they forgot I was a girl. Um, and yeah, I was just always like yeah, and even growing up, like, you're made to be embarrassed. Like, you
Mhm.
had to, like, discreetly slide a pad over or, like, raise your hand to go to the bathroom and then wait because the teacher's an asshole, and you have, like, a pad up your sleeve the whole time trying to hide it.
Yeah, like, I would, like, slide it in my back pocket or, like, use my wallet as, use my wallet to carry it with me, pretending like I was gonna go somewhere after with it. Like, I don't also, those clunkers, like the heavy duty pads, are not easy to hide.
They're not humongous,
They could
but
be
it's
used as padding.
I think, like so before I'd use, like, normal pads, but my issue was that when it was a really heavy day, it would bleed through, and I bleed through like the most important events in my life,
Aw.
like my finals, my graduation. I was bleeding through my dress.
Oh
Like
my
it was like,
god.
yeah, my body's like one last fuck you moment. Graduated. So now I'm like heavy duty all the way.
That's insane. Like, I think as I've gotten older, I think like my periods have gotten lighter, which
Mhm.
I'm thankful for. But what wasn't great was I had the worst cramps in the world. And like I would be on the bathroom floor, shivering, sweating in pain because of how bad my cramps were. And like I would just fall asleep on the bathroom floor. And that was the only way I could like get through them. And this happened like once like every few like months.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like there was this one time when I was in like our law or history class, I forget, but I was in so much pain. I just put my head down on the table and I just didn't do anything for the rest of class. And like the teacher, my favorite teacher in the world, didn't say anything at all. And she was just like okay with it.
I mean, yeah, she was your favorite for a reason.
Yeah, that's fair. It was just terrible though. Like especially when you're like in class or you're like at work or something or you're just out and about and you're not at home and you get one of those, like it's just like you can't function. And the fact that girls can still carry on with their days is amazing.
I don't even have periods is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be the one to ovulate and have the baby? Why can't the guy?
Yeah, 100%. I had a dream last night that Jordan got pregnant. It was great. I went to Affinity, which are these thinner liners that always came out with, thank God, because I could not deal with the chunkiness no more. That was kind of like the start of university, and that was also when I stopped living at home, so I got more control over the things that I would buy, the sanitary products that I would buy too. So then that was when I ventured into like using tampons, and tampons changed my life. Pads to me are like so restricting. You can't really do anything in them fearing that like something will leak or like something will happen, right? But like tampons are you just like get over the fear of inserting them and then it's great. You just go about your day as long as you remember to take them out before like 8 hours or you'll die of toxic shock.
Okay. That's my fear. That's why I'm afraid to use tampons actually because of toxic shock. I tried to figure out how tampons worked once, couldn't figure it out for the life of me, went back to using my heavy duty pads.
It's
No regrets.
like, okay, which part? The let me do like a step by step walkthrough on this podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Um, yeah, no, I just feel like maybe it's just like about getting used to it, but I'm like because I used to bleed through so many times, I'm always like security. Like gotta get the heavy duty ones. And it's only like the first couple days anyways, and everything else I can just go back to like my regular ones. I don't love pads. I don't love periods in general.
Mm.
They suck. But I think I've always had it a little bit easier. I think like I my cramps haven't been too bad. Like I don't get too many bad side effects. I will cry though. Oh, I will get really bad PMS. Like once every couple months, I have a list of things to cry to. Um and I have that list prepared for when I cry. I think that will be coming up this month. Hopefully maybe this month, next month. Um my list of things to cry will be shared. It'll be my recommendations. Um yeah, PMS pretty sucks because I think I'm generally like a very happy, energetic person. So when I get really angry, it like stresses me out even more.
Sometimes, and this has been only happening lately, where like if I'm near like when I'm gonna get my period, I find that I'm more like susceptible to having kids. I'm like, this is the only time of like it only happens like occasionally, but like I know it's coming because I'm like, oh, like I suddenly have like this hankering of like maybe raising a child. And I'm like, wait a second, that's just the period talking and your biological clock. And it's not a true feeling.
I don't think I get that at all. I yeah, no.
Maybe I'm just weird. But anyways, maybe I just feel more maternal.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like you're ovulating, right? So maybe
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, really messes up. Oh, I guess with the whole like hormones thing, um, I've started tracking when I get my period because I've noticed that there's certain weeks before you get your period where you are stronger and where you are weaker at the gym.
Ooh,
So like there's certain weeks where it's like you should go a little bit lower in weight to because you're not as strong, but then there's also weeks where you are stronger and you should go heavier during those weeks. And there's like because like female hormones like fluctuate so much, it's like you should not be disappointed if you don't like consistently meet your fitness goals like week to week.
hmm,
Yeah, fun
pretty cool.
fact.
Hmm, I had no idea. I do track my periods too, but lately I haven't really been on time, so I'm kind of worried.
Ah,
Uh, great.
the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, we've seen Jane the Virgin. We know how these things work.
Yeah.
Why do you think tampons were always like cooler?
I don't know if you had this, but when I was younger, like it would always like be like tampons mentioned in movies. Like no one really mentioned like pads. And like it was always like in my mind, it was always like the cooler thing to
Mm.
use.
Actually, now that you mention it, even guys like they see a pad and they're like, "Oh, that's a tampon, right?"
Yeah.
Like they have never heard of pads before. Like I had to explain it to Nick on how it worked.
And like which goes back to my whole they have no idea how the wings of pads adhere to like underwear and stuff. So I think it's like the media just made like tampon just the thing. Like it was just like, oh, that's what you're supposed to use. Like that's what people who are like cool and popular like use. And like they refer to everything as like tampon. So then once again, guys have no idea what pads are.
I feel like even growing up, people would only ask me like, "Hey, do you have a pad on you?" Not even a tampon. Like nowadays, people ask like if you have a tampon, and I'm like, "No, I only have the heavy duty pads."
I think like so I actually like because no one's really ever asked me before, but I have like a mixture of stuff that I can offer.
I ask you.
Yeah, but like you don't like I don't know if you use the same things that I do. I think I've
I
like
had to. You were
okay.
my last resort.
Oh wow, okay, thanks.
We were in that LA.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But like I
Yeah.
usually carry like I carry like a thing of like things I might need, which is like
Mm.
band-aids, Midol, Tylenol, NyQuil, um, liners just in case. And then like the affinity pads I was talking about because I know some people prefer pads, and then also tampons as well. That one's mostly for me. Yeah, always be prepared. That's my recommendation this
Mm.
week.
Honestly, yeah, I'm not prepared at all. I mean, I used to be like super over prepared. Like, you know that thing where the girl was going to space for like a few days and NASA gave her like 100 pads and they're like, is this enough for you?
No, I don't know that. What?
NASA thought Sally Ride, an astronaut, so they were sending her to space for a week and they asked her, is 100 tampons gonna be enough for you?
That's so funny. This is the whole thing. This goes back to the whole thing of why you need to combine the girls and the guys sex ed classes.
Huh, so funny.
That's so funny.
Ah, what a meme. Um Yeah, I really think they should be combined. Boys and girls all need to know this. I don't know why it needs to be kept like such hush hush secret.
Hmm.
And the whole disgusting thing where it's like you're not a woman till you get your period.
Ugh.
Ew. Who says this? Who started this? Show me their name. I'm gonna fight them. I have a long list of people to fight. I'm gonna be dead by the end of this. What do you think about menstrual cups?
I like kind of like I'm like really interested in them. Like they're like the whole new thing, right? Like they're supposed to be like environmentally friendly, but like similar to the hill that I had to climb to start using tampons. Like I don't like the insertion part of the menstrual cup really um makes me like I don't know how to do it. Like they're like apparently you need it to suction. And I'm like I'm afraid that I'm not going to get it to suction properly. The other issue is that you need a sink nearby to clean it out, which isn't that bad
Mm,
when you like are working from home, but think about like the office. Like when you go into the office and there's just stalls, and then like everyone has to like, there's like a multitude of sinks on the outside of the stall. Like, how are you going to empty that out, clean it, and then waddle back into the bathroom? So, but like they're better because environmentally friendly. You can keep them in for much longer than you can a tampon, so you can sleep in them. Like, think about that luxury. They're like, they last for a really long time, so it's a lot cheaper. You just have to boil them. So, like
Oh
to clean
boy.
it, to disinfect it.
Gotcha.
But you can't.
Like a freaking babe. Just my menstrual cup. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna use menstrual cup, not gonna lie. I love my pads, and I think that's okay. I think you can use whatever you want, whatever, as long as you're catching the blood, I guess.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Why can't it just bleed
So,
everywhere?
why can't I like one big Band-Aid that like I have to change? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Every month, it's a Band-Aid I have to change. Disgusting. What do you wish you knew about menstrual products, like, when you got it? Like, how do you like, what do you wish you knew about your vagina in general?
That discharge can be like bleach and make your black
Mm.
underwear orange, and I did not know that. And I was like, "Oh, like this is so gross. Like what is the
Mhm.
stain? Like how did this happen? I can't get it out either." Which is terrible. Bleach, you cannot get bleach out of like black clothes. That is, when I was bleaching my hair, I wore a black turtleneck, and there's like pieces of bleach that I guess like came off, and it stained my turtleneck. It was one of my favorites, and now I can't wear that turtleneck anymore because there's splotches of orange. Very unfortunate. Did not know that as a kid, and that was like devastating for me because I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so weird."
Yeah, I wish it was more normal. Um, honestly, I wish Asian mothers would, like, tell me this too, because I just went through life thinking I was a psycho for the longest time.
Mhm.
Um, and, like, little things too, like discharge and stuff, my mom was always like, "Ew, like, what's going on in your underwear?" Because she would do my laundry. She was like, "What is this? Like, are you okay? Do we need to go see a doctor?" And I'm like, "Oh boy, I'm a nightmare. I'm the most disgusting human being alive."
Which is weird because it's like, don't they experience the exact same thing?
I guess not. Um, yeah, I think my mom did show me how to use a pad for the first time. Like I called her and I was awkwardly like, "I don't know where you keep the pads. I got my period." And I just had to use liners because she wasn't home from work yet. So I had to change my liner every like 30 minutes.
Oh god, I feel like you should start talking about it before it happens.
Yeah, I think we were about to. No, we did talk about it in school, so I knew I needed a pad, but I
Yeah.
did not know where to find it. No, wait, I didn't know how to put it on. I take it back.
Yeah. Because it's
I couldn't
like,
remember.
usually it's like in the same, it's under the sink.
Yeah, but we lived in like a all boys thing. Pads were kept secret.
Mm. Ah,
Just
fair. Okay.
and now
Well,
I'm like, "Go buy me these pads."
does he?
No.
Oh. I was gonna say, I was like, "Oh, that's kinda sweet." I take back the whole get rid of your family for saying that one mean comment about you.
No, he doesn't. He still gets kinda grossed out when I talk about my period. He's like, "Ew, why are we talking about this right now?" And I'm like, "This happens to everyone."
Yeah, like, usually in movies and stuff, isn't that thing where, like, if they grow up with sisters, they're, like, super cool about it and everything, like,
He's not. And I've told him too, like, "Hey man, you should like carry on some pads with you too. That'll get you some bonus marks." And he's like, "No, then the girls are gonna be like, 'What the fuck are you doing with pads?'"
I think it's, like, if you have them in your, like, bathroom or something, like, I think that would be, like, if you live somewhere, like, by yourself and you, like, had them in the bathroom,
Yeah,
like,
there you
discreetly, I
go.
think that would be cool.
Yeah, I agree. So we talked about a couple of things today: body hair, pads versus tampons, us as teenagers. So our what our advice for girls. What advice do you guys have, or what questions do you guys have about body hair, pads or tampons? What are things you guys wish you knew? Um, our general advice is do whatever you want to do. Body
Yeah.
hair wise, it's your body, your preferences. Like do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Um, Pads versus tampons, again, whatever you want. Bleeding sucks anyways, whatever you want. I'm team pads, Wanda's team tampons.
Just read the instructions on the box.
Don't stick the pads to your body.
Yeah, that. Combine education classes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just when you're bored in the bathroom, just read like Google it or like read the instructions that it comes with. Like, That's what I did.
I am not going to get toxic shock syndrome. I'm sorry.
I guess you're not a good person for it. Yeah, you would not be a good candidate. Maggie doesn't have like a great track record with like keeping time.
I don't. That's actually a really good point too. So I could actually die if I use tampons.
Ooh, don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to be cool.
So this is going to be a two-parter. So next episode, we're going to be talking about some more things: birth control, expectations, confidence, and security. We're here for you. We're going to talk this through. We're going to be your pseudo moms.
Yeah, that's honestly that would actually be a better episode topic than
how to be a mom.
Yeah, being like the internet moms, you know.
Aw, cute.
Like there's like the dad on the internet who like shows people how to like shave or like
Aw, yeah, that could be us.
Yeah, exactly.
We will never go that viral because we are not a white man.
Yeah. Hence the mom part. Thanks for tuning in again, and like us on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts as well. Follow us on social media at Your Online Moms. Just kidding. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. That's it. Okay. You'd think that after this many episodes, I'd get a lot better at remembering the things that we have, but I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, follow us on social media, like us, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching. Bye.